All right, hello everybody. Let's look at some ways to remember the cranial bones. Now, keep in mind the cranial bones are only the bones that enclose and create the cranial cavity. And so they are the bones that are going to surround the brain in this big circular pattern. Now, this is really important because it's going to offer protection, but most of us don't really think about the interior deep cranial bones. We can see them here in yellow, turquoise, and purple. These bones essentially wall off the brain from your facial bones, which basically hang anteriorly off of the cranium and project forward to form the face. And we want to be able to close off the brain from things like the nasal cavity and the oral cavity so that brain tissue isn't getting constantly assaulted by, whatever you eat and whatever, mucosa that you produce. So let's see if we can come up with a way to remember the cranial bones. And there are 8 cranial bones to remember. Some are paired and some are individual. And what I do is I try to remember F post, right? And so F post, we take the first letter of this phrase, and that stands for each one of the cranial bones. So let's go ahead and name them. So we're going to start here, and you'll notice that our F post naming system is going to take us around in a little circle, starting the front all the way through all of our cranial bones and loop us back to where we started. So let's name them. So starting with our yellow bone here in the front, we have the ethmoid, followed by the orange bone, which is our frontal bone, followed by the green bone here, which is our parietal bone, followed by the blue bone in the back here and down below, which is the occipital bone. And then we're going to end actually with this turquoise bone here. I'm going to leave my labeling out here on the corner, and that is the sphenoid bone, pronounced just like Frozen character Sven, right? The little reindeer. So the sphenoid. And so our mnemonic is Evan finds playlists on Spotify, and then to listen to refers to this purple fragment, and that is the temporal bone, which we'll see in the next diagram or on your diagram at home, really is this side of the skull. So we're talking about these 2 bones here on the side, conveniently placed kind of like earmuffs, right? So Evan finds playlists on Spotify, and then our temporal bone rests right here over your ear. And we can almost think of it as like headphones, right? So here's our temporal bone. And that's what we have to listen to, right? And that is the temporal bone. Put that out here, temporal. So in the next video, I will show you how to specifically recognize each of these cranial bones along with the facial bones in our diagrams. And I'll point out a few things that get labeled a little bit differently depending on orientation of the skull and your illustrators. So stay tuned.